So as we get ready, thank you everyone for joining us for episode 7 of Masters of Dread. We are going to be down a couple players tonight. We may have people show up in the middle. Who knows? You never know what the mist will cause to happen as we go back into Ravenloft. But tonight we will be joined by our one player. We'll be playing our person in the blue shirt just below me, and his name is...
My name is Annie. I play Durandal, the Dampier Swarm Keeper Ranger, and it is a very, very cool combo. I think you can. My swarm is bats, which is natural. It's just really, really cool. I'm digging the race and the.
And to everyone out there who said that Rangers are no good, you have not seen this Ranger in action. This guy's a superhero. We've been enjoying seeing the Ranger in action. So I love the new Ranger, and I'm excited to continue with his story as the party is split. And I agree. Rangers are the best. I think they are very overlooked, and we're going to get to see more of the Ranger in action. Now, I may say all of that, and he may die a horrible death in Ravenloft tonight. It could happen. But let's go ahead and let's get started. So as we begin each and every week, we begin not in Ravenloft, but we begin in the realm of Faerun as we go back and we see the world of Faerun, and we zoom in and we see the city, the bustling metropolis of Waterdeep. And then finally, as we continue all the way into the town, we see the Trollskull Manor. Now, the Trollskull Manor is where we begin each week as the local residents gather and they come into the tavern to listen to the story that's being told by the marvelous and magnificent Marcus Madmore. So let's enter into the Trollskull Manor as the resident bard, the legendary troubadour, has come in to tell his tale, this tale of dread and woe of Ravenloft. And as he comes in, everyone come on in. So we see Sunshine, and we see Ghost, and everyone come on in. Welcome everybody, welcome. Come on in, grab your ale, grab your mead, and grab a table, and I will continue to be able to tell you this wonderful story. And as Marcus comes out, he comes out in his finest silk shirt, this very nice tailored black vest, as he's walking about and just greeting everyone, very well groomed, with his hair pulled back and a very well groomed goatee. And he says, welcome everyone, come on in. This week and last week we had sea bass, and this week we have some nice venison just brought in, and I welcome everyone to come on in, and I would like to tell you a tale tonight, continuing from the last time we were together, a tale of woe, of these people, these poor souls that are lost in this realm of Har'Akir. But before we do that, we need to set the mood a little bit. And he reaches and he looks back at the minstrels playing in the back, and he goes, "That is enough for now. I will take it over from here." And as he says that, the minstrels in the back, they stop playing the music, and with just a little wave with his hand, Marcus begins to play his own music, using the sound of his magical ghost sound that begins to pipe in. And as he does, this other music starts to play as the candles and the torches they begin to dim magically as he begins to cast his spell, and he greets everyone as, come on in, as we continue the story. I must remind you that this story is not one that I simply made up, but no, I am one who is gifted in talking to the spirits and the ones of the beyond, and this story was told to me by someone who witnessed these events and saw these things happen firsthand. So please note that all of the things I tell you, good or bad, that happens to these poor souls, do not get angry at me, because I am simply relaying a story that was passed down to me. And with that, he pulls out his orb, and this white orb in his hand begins to grow, and as it begins to grow, all of the people in the tavern begin to zoom in and look as he opens up the orb, and you see this orange landscape, this burning sand that's blowing across this barren wasteland. And as it gets bigger and bigger, everyone begins to just look, and then we are all taking our focus and magically kind of visually transported into this new realm. And that is where we pick up tonight as we return to Har'Akir. And as we return to Har'Akir, again, the music changes as we hear this chant that is this rolling over the hills. It is lamented over as we now return to Har'Akir. And with that, we will be, fortunately, real life sometimes wins and sometimes it doesn't, as it seems that our friend Wes will actually be joining us tonight. So car troubles be destroyed, and we did it. Wes is back with the massive goatee and the black shirt. We have a surprise. We will not have one, but we will have two. But tonight we will begin our story with Durandal, the ranger, the Dhampir ranger, as he is traveling with a new companion that he has met as he was separated from the party in our previous adventure. A giant desert storm came in, and this massive sand came through and just pushed through, and he saw the giant hand of some magical being like pressing and digging across the wasteland itself. And he was actually pressed underground, where he had this little misadventure of trying to find his way back to the surface. And in doing so, he freed another individual, and that individual's name was Baltazar. And Baltazar, let me get him out for us. Baltazar. So Durandal is now traveling across the wasteland with this individual he pulled out, literally pulled out of the sand, who was being captured and held in some like large coffin that was buried into the sand and was being guarded by some undead guardian that Durandal bested in combat. And now he is traveling across the wasteland with Baltazar, whose bald skin is very white. His entire skin is very pale. He does have an orange glow to his eyes, and we learned quickly that he has a taste for blood, as he was able to kind of replenish himself from drinking from some large beast that was buried in the sand as well. And now the two of them are traveling across the wasteland in search of the party that Durandal originally traveled here with. And with them is also a third companion, and that would also be Baltazar's faithful companion, Magdalene. Magdalene, the fiery hound, we'll say, who was guarding and watching over Baltazar. He is also traveling with them. So as Durandal and Baltazar are making their way across the wasteland, they are also followed by Magdalene, and that is where we're going to pick up tonight. We'll begin with Durandal traveling across the wasteland with both Baltazar and Magdalene following just behind.
Okay.
All right, so now we will begin our action. So, as you're walking across, Baltazar is... You notice that the sun is beating down. It seems to be bothering him. Now, it bothers you as well, but more so he, as you are moving across, and he keeps eyeing the sun, hoping that it will soon abate and go and disappear across the horizon as you travel. And with that, what would you like to do?
Do I know generally in the direction where I'm heading?
You know vaguely. The problem is that you can see the sandstorm that came through. It changed the landscape and the topography a bit. However, mountain ranges and things of that nature, you know. The one point that you know for sure is the obelisk in the distance, and with the light that's peering out of it, you see that, and you can kind of use that as a bearing that you need to go generally in this direction. And you're hoping as you travel, you'll find more landmarks.
I'm going to look over at Baltazar as we're traveling and ask him, do you know what that obelisk is and what the light is?
I do. It is the god of this domain. It is the Pharaoh himself watching over the land.
Oh. The one whose guardian we just fought. I see.
I believe so, yes, but...
Okay.
He lives in a place called the City of the Dead, and that was where I was headed before I was captured.
What of your lord, Brunwald?
Well, he sent me to spy and retrieve something if I came about it.
Okay. All right. And as we're just traveling, I'm going to ask him, tell me of your lord.
He is a magnificent lord who rules over his domain. He is tormented by his lost love, and the place that he dwells, it punishes him. Oh, love is rampant there, and everyone there bask in the love and serenity of the people around it, but not he. He suffers and watches as others enjoy a life that he has not known.
Is he in this realm, or is he in a different?
Oh no, he is in a different realm. I found a way here. He believes that there's a way for him to escape, for the god of this realm has found a way to move between realms.
Ooh. We are from a different realm as well.
I can tell by your clothing that you are not here. Not from here.
It's probably extremely futile, but I'm going to look around for any horse tracks.
Well, you wouldn't find any, because the horse that you're missing has magical horseshoes that makes him run atop
That's right.
the sand. But you can find other things. So why don't you give me a survival check and just see if you can find your way.
I'm going for one campaign and you lose the horse.
Right. All right. Survival?
Yes. All right, so let's check our first roll of the night. Is a mighty 12. So you rolled a 6 plus 6 in survival gives you a 12. And as you go across, you don't find what you're looking for, but what you do see is some ruins up on the right that you do remember seeing. They look a little different, but you do remember the top of it. So it gives you a bearing that you know you're heading in the right direction. And as you're going, you hear Magdalene kind of growl a little bit and start like moving off to your left. As you look, and you and Balthazar both look as the dog is kind of moving about and kind of bends over and is kind of growling off to your left and kind of looking back at Balthazar.
Okay. I'll just pull out an arrow just kind of preemptively, and what has she found?
And when Balthazar looks and he reaches over and he puts his hand on the scalding. There's always a little bit of a steam coming off of the dog itself. But as he reaches over and he touches the side of it, he seems to have some type of connection with the dog itself, and looks over and he goes, "She senses something coming from beneath us." And as you look up, you see the sand in the dune next to you seems to be shifting ever so softly, as it's kind of like you see like the shifting of the sand is moving towards you, a good 100 yards out.
Okay. Yeah, I will. I'll ask him, should we advance or just kind of stay cautious?
I have found that anything under the sand is not something we want to be around, so I suggest we make haste.
Sounds good.
And with that, the two of you make double team as you as you start running across the landscape. In the distance, you hear a lot of that was from like your left, and as you're moving in your front left, you hear cracking and breaking of stone, and sounds almost like an earthquake that's coming like localized in a different direction. Looks like maybe this is something else that's coming from like not directly in front of you, but more off to your left as you're moving. And with that, Balthazar grabs you by the shoulder and kind of like tugs at you to move into the other direction. As you do that, you turn, and the sandstorm that came through it's still kicked up like this cloud of like sandy mist that you're moving through. And in the distance, you see a horse riding towards you, but you don't hear the horse. You merely see the horse riding through the mist. As you look, you see your faithful steed, Equinox, and a rider atop it.
Ah, this is my faithful steed.
As you look, you see that the steed is riding in, and atop it is a familiar face, a very large individual, with like the Roman Centurion helmet with the plume coming off the top of it. The horse is massive, and atop it, an even more massive rider, as Xiv comes riding over the dune, ever so softly, thundering over, and with his magical horseshoes on his horse as you come over. Now, Xiv, to catch you up, over the last couple of days, there has been a sandstorm that has come through. In the middle of that, you were performing this experiment that you had from your tome to try to find a way for to bring back Baka. In the process, there was an electrical surge that came out from both the broken Tesla coil that you carried, and some of the things as well, like the wiring that you were connecting. You went unconscious. When you came back, your cart was missing, as was Estelle and Baka, and it was only you left there, buried in about 2 feet of sand. You crawled up to the top and looked around. Your Tesla coil is missing, so your weapon is missing, your cart is missing, your friends are missing, but in the distance, you saw a familiar face in the horse, Equinox, coming with no rider. At that point, you took the horse, and the horse seemed to instinctively know where to go and is leading you back across the sands. And at this point, you ride up and you find Durandal in front of you.
Durandal, who think happens?
Steve!
They're missing. They're gone.
Oh, what happened?
There was some...
Swallowed by the sand?
I assume. I don't know what happened. The experiment backfired. The next thing I know, I'm buried in sand and I see your horse. And that's all I remember.
Something similar.
Seems par for the course for me. I don't remember much anyway, so...
Right.
And as you say that, Balthazar, he comes forward and he goes, friend, what is your name again?
Xiv. My name is Xiv.
Xiv,
Nice to meet you.
You see this individual in like this black like robe, very pale skin, bald head, looking over at you with this orangish glow in his eyes. He goes, Did you say you had some type of experiment that you were trying to leave this realm?
We were trying to confer the memories of one to another. But we do also have experiment to possibly leave this realm. What were the name of those individuals?
The Vistani?
Yeah, those people.
Vistani.
Yes,
you've cracked their code. You know how to do it.
Well, I heard the arcane recitations, and I know a little something of it. As a matter of fact, I wrote it down.
And he's looking over you. He's looking over this massive being in front of you. He's like, "Your intellect is puzzling. I am sorry. I would not have expected you to have the intellect that you have." Just looking. I mean, he's looking over this massive form, and it kind of takes him back a little bit. He's like,
"Thank you."
He doesn't mean it as a. He means it as a compliment. It just came out horribly wrong. He's just kind of. Now you also notice that he's got like this dog with him that's kind of like has this constant like mist and smoke coming off of him. It's just like ever so softly like coming off of him, and you notice that Durandal seems to found an odd pair of allies in this place.
Xiv.
Well, we're pretty odd too, so.
Xiv, this man serves Lord Brunval.
Isn't that the same patron that you're... And I realize I'm talking too much, probably, and isn't that the same as the thing that... Yes.
Yes.
No, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So in my misadventure, I fell down into some sand, found Balthazar and his dog, Magdalene, and here we are. I'm going to look at Balthazar and say, what item are you seeking, Balthazar?
A tome of knowledge.
Ooh.
Well, this is no tome of knowledge, but I'll pull out the paper and show him the Vistani's rudimentary arcane incantation involves these keywords, and I believe they were using a little something else. Something. Oh, Estelle would remember. I'm not sure.
And he's looking over these notes. He goes, we should head to Muhar. I think there you would find some of the things that you need. If this experiment is true, I would very much like to bring the two of you back to my lord, and perhaps we would be of one accord here.
Does your lord have ways of searching these sands for our friends?
He has many ways to do certain things. He has many allies as well who is helping him search for things. I'm sure he could help you.
Well, that sounds excellent. We weren't really doing anything anyway.
Also, Xiv, the light in the obelisk is the Dreadlord of this domain.
The Dreadlord is a light? That seems terribly
that's
no,
his dwelling.
It is his gaze.
Oh. Well, good thing we didn't go there. That's
Well,
terrifying.
That is where I intend to go eventually, though. But first, unfortunately, we must go in the opposite direction if we want to head to Muhar. It is quite a journey, but there is a river that we can find. It will take us there.
I seem to have lost my weapon as well, which is not good.
And Baltimore goes and goes, I too have no weapons, but our friend here seems to be pretty good in combat, so perhaps with your...
Xiv, how about breaking one of those columns over there and using it until we can find you another coil?
To be honest with you, I never really picked it. It was just kind of there, but if I see something, I'll pick it up.
Okay. So the four of you, counting the dog, actually the five of you, counting the horse and the dog, begin heading in the opposite direction. Basically keeping, as long as you keep the obelisk directly to your back, you seem to be heading into the direction. As you're traveling, Baltazar is sharing with the two of you the direction and bearing to kind of understand what north and south and all of that is in this area. So now you're kind of getting, basically the tower is like southeast, and then from there we want to head northwest to Muhar, and that kind of gives you a general, like, okay, if that's, we always have that point, because it seems like no matter where you go, you can see the obelisk of this place, which he keeps referring to as, but then he tells you the name of the place is the City of the Dead, and that is where the pharaoh god Octopot, who's the lord of this area, of this domain, that is where he is from.
Seems like a terrible place for an octopod to be a pharaoh, but who am I to judge?
He's not as terrible as you may think. He's like all of the lords trapped in these realms. They are searching or being held here, punished in some way.
I see. Does he often... How did you find yourself trapped down there?
Well, everything here that is dead is controlled by the Pharaoh. And I live in between that place of life and death, and when he could not control me, he sent his forces after me.
Well, then he'll probably send them after us as well. We too live in that gray area.
We must make haste to Muhar then and try to find our way out of this place. I need to report back to my lord anyway.
How long have you been buried down there?
It's hard to tell. Time is relative in so many ways. It's been a while, it seems.
With a faithful pup to guard you.
Fortunately, she doesn't need to eat or drink. She is eternal in many ways.
Can I do an animal handling check to kind of try to just
Yes.
dances with wolves to her?
Yeah, you may. Give us an animal handling check to try to befriend Magdalene, the
Hellhound.
Hellhound. You roll an 8, which is a +4, so 4 + 4. You reach out its hand. It's still wary of you. You did take a shot at it just the day before. It seems to remember that and is not very trusting of you.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Pooch. I'll earn your favor yet.
Earn your favor in a moment, all right? So at this point, you're heading back the other direction, and now, as you're turning back, there were 2 points that you passed of things that were happening. There was some earthquake that was happening that seemed to be somewhat localized, and then you also noticed that the sands were shifting. Well, now you're heading back in that area. As you stop, as you're traveling back over the dunes, you look and you see as these sands are shifting, several small things kind of skittering out of the sand and running across in the path. It looks like a swarm of hundreds of small bugs or insects that have come out of the sand. It is moving across in front of you, probably a good 60, 80 feet in front of you. Baltimore, he stops immediately and goes, "Those are very dangerous. We must stay back."
Yes, they are. We had a run-in with a few.
No. You look, these are small.
Ooh.
They're, maybe 6-8 inches at best, maybe even smaller than that. And there's like hundreds of them that are just popping out of the sand and scurrying across. He goes, "Scarabs, very dangerous."
Have we come across any skeletons of anything while we're walking, like bones or anything that I could use as a weapon?
Not yet, no.
I'm on the lookout for anything handheld.
Now, one thing you will realize is you're moving over dunes, and you wouldn't have been able to pull the cart over this anyway, and horses probably wouldn't do well either, but this horse, with the magical horseshoes, is doing just fine. So, Xiv, you're riding on the horse, the other 2 are kind of up walking in front, and with your heightened view, you look over, and to your right, you do see something in the distance that looks like, you're not really quite sure what it is, but you do see something into the right where it looks like there's people moving about in the shade, and you can see like forms of people moving about to your right.
Are they where the scarabs are going?
The scarabs are moving away from that general direction.
I'm gonna direct Baltazar's attention to the side and say, "What of that?"
Now,
are they controlling them?
No, you look at this is far in the distance. You can just barely make it out in the distance. There's a couple of rocks in the distance that has like sand. Just seems to be like permanently like flowing over and creating almost like a sand waterfall. And you see that in the past, and you see just the very small forms of some people moving about in the distance. I have a little bit of a view for that. Just wanted to capture the idea of this constant sand waterfall, if you will, of the sand just pouring over the mountains. With this last storm, there seems to be just constant sand just pouring over, and you just see this wasteland. You also see like it's still, even though it's desert, the sun is never as bright or as barring as things that we would think of. There's a constant mist and over clouds that keeps like a haze over the wasteland as you're moving across. But in the distance, in that, you do see some individuals moving, and they seem very, very far out, but it's the first life that you've seen since you've been here.
Any ideas, Baltazar?
Probably a Kirin. They are the residents of this, or it could be of Astani. But they... Probably one of those, I would believe. They're far out, or scavengers or so.
Should we head that way?
Well, it would be good to get some information, and if they don't have information, I am a bit hungry.
Yes. Sustenance. Yes.
And Xiv, you noticed that seemed like an odd thing to say.
Yes. Okay.
So with that, you're moving away from the insects as they're moving. Give me a nature check.
Both of us?
No, just you.
Hmm. Ooh. I am rolling hot tonight.
Hot 3, and that's with a +1. So a 2 + 1 gets us a mighty 3. So far, you have rolled a 6, a 4, and a 2 for your first 3
look
rolls.
at this
tonight.
wonderful lake. Yeah.
We're getting worse. 6, 4, 2. That natty 1 is coming right up. All right. So as you're moving across the sands, you look in the distance and you do see these individuals as you're moving closer that seem to be scavenging an area. There's seems to be, as you are moving, this takes hours to move across as you're kind of moving across the dunes and everything. You're able to scamper up and down the rocks pretty easily between your ability to spider climb on demand. Baltazar can do something very similar. And also with Xiv being able to ride his magical horse, you're able to traverse this terrain extremely easy and move pretty quickly compared to probably other groups. You get closer, and as you get closer, whatever you're seeing seems that those people that are moving around, they seem to have disappeared. But you do see what looks to be about a 60 or 70 foot canyon that they were moved in and out of. And you see it's 60 to 70 feet wide and probably 20, 30 feet tall of this little groove canyon that they were kind of, and you're kind of moving into that area. Okay. Now, before you get to the canyon, is there anything that y'all want to do?
I'm going to take out one of my short swords and toss it to Baltazar.
And Baltazar, he takes it, he goes, "Oh, thank you. Now, is it the regular short sword or the gladius?"
Ooh, let me give him the gladius, yeah.
Yeah, you hand him the gladius. So you hand him the gladius. He goes, "Oh, thank you, my friend." And he kind of, he flips it and kind of holds it like this, like upside down. He goes, "I appreciate it." And you notice that fighting style for him seems odd. But yeah, he holds it like down as you move across. And he goes, "You are suspecting danger in this canyon ahead?"
I suspect danger everywhere. I have no idea what this land holds.
"Oh, you're pretty wise then." And he looks over and goes, "Xiv, you have a better view from up there. Do you sense anything up ahead?" Give me a perception check.
Bear with me, it's been a minute. It's just +1.
From your height advantage, you roll
15.
a 14 plus 1 is a 15. You roll a 15, and what you see a few of those individuals have kind of left and seem to be like they're leaving the canyon itself. They seem to have spotted you and evaded. But you do see that there was probably 3, maybe 4 of them from what you can tell, but they seem to have left.
Well, I'll ride up ahead and see if there's anything of note there, since there's no individuals left. I don't want to leave too far ahead, but I'm just going to gallop up ahead.
All right, so you gallop ahead. Now, Durandal, you see him kind of moving forward. Are you sticking back, or are you staying with?
I'll kind of just walk,
Okay. All right.
Not hurry.
So you have your bow out, I'm guessing, since you gave one of your swords. All right, so the 3 of you, meaning Baltazar, Durandal, and Magdalene the dog, are kind of scanning back as he's riding forward. Now, Xiv, as you ride forward, you do see several skeletal remains in this canyon. They all seem to be grouped together. There's different types of sand here. As you get closer, you look at there's some type of odd smell in this canyon. And as you look over, you see these bodies that seem to be almost like torn away, like almost like dissolved in some sense. And you see like just stuff just kind of scattered around. But the sand itself, there's also like a mixture of some type of like brown ooze that's pulled up in the canyon itself.
Ugh. Can I inspect one of the bodies? That's
you
closer
can.
to the edge.
Yes. Give me a medicine check. So I do medicine checks for anatomy.
15.
All right. From your steed, are you getting down to investigate it?
Yeah, I guess I'll hop off and look.
All right, so you hop off and you get down. As you look over the bones, you have your CSI moment as you pull off your shades. I'm kidding. You look over the bodies and you see that the skeletal remains seem to have been burned, like some type of acid had torn away from the bones, and there's only like very brittle pieces of the bones left. And you look about, and there's probably 6 or 7 remnants of bodies just kind of laying about.
This is at the top of the canyon?
No, he's in the canyon.
Oh, okay.
The bottom of the canyon, yeah. And so you're looking about, like, it's 60 to 70 feet wide, about 20, 25 feet tall, and in the middle there's like 6 or 7 like dissolved remains of skeletons. Xiv, is there anything else that you want to do as you're investigating?
Is there any leg bones?
There is. You do reach over. As you go to reach over and grab a femur, you look over and you see buried in the muck, you see something metallic in the muck itself.
I'll poke at it with the bone.
You pull out the bone, you poke out, you hear it's very hard, like a kink. It's something very large and metal.
Can I dig at it with my shoe?
You can. You take off your boot and you're kind of digging. So at this point, Durandal.
No, I mean, I'm like standing it up and like.
Oh,
trying to dig it out.
You're trying to dig it out with your foot. You reach as you go. Your foot kind of like goes into this muck, and it's just kind of as it just kind of like this sinks in, and you do kick something hard, and you realize that it looks like something like a metal shaft or something that's sticking out of the mud itself.
I'm gonna grab if there's any cloth left and try to pull it out of the muck.
There is no cloth at all. It's only bone.
Well, I'll try to get the handle up with the bone so I can.
Okay, so you're trying to fish it out. So you
I just don't want to stick my hand.
You're just trying to so you're like grabbing bones, just kind of like getting out. You pull out, and as it kind of sticks for a second, but it looks like the pommel of a very large sword or possibly an axe.
Once the handle's up, I'll grab it and.
All right, so you grab it. You easily like pull it out of the muck. As you pull it out, it is a massive greatsword. Seems to be perfectly intact and in good condition, just disgustingly messy from whatever sludge this is.
Okay, I'll grab that and head back to the group.
You do sense slight arcane aura coming off of the sword.
Interesting.
Durandal, as you're walking up, you see him just reach down into the sand and pull out this massive sword out of the sand. It's just like all this gunk just coming off of it. You also walk in this canyon, and it is rank smelling in here. It didn't smell quite as bad to Xiv, but to you, have a little bit better sense of smell than he probably does. It's pretty bad.
Xiv, I see you got a good weapon there. I thought you were going to get a pelvis or a coccyx or such. So you've upgraded.
It would appear so. It seems kind of magical. Somewhat. Can I try to do an Arcana check on it?
You can.
I'm gonna use Knowledge of Past Life too.
Okay.
So it's D20 plus 4 plus 6 or plus whatever I roll.
Gotcha.
19 plus 4, which is 23.
It is an enchanted sword. It is a +1 greatsword.
Oh. Interesting. What kind of damage does that do?
2d6.
Oh, the same as the testicle.
Right. But this one does +1 to hit, +1 damage.
I'm gonna go back up the embankment to them.
Okay.
At the top.
All right. So as you're walking up, you look down, and Balthazar goes, "Oh, you found treasure hidden into the sand. That is quite unusual. Well, the Pharaoh looks for many things. Treasures of this nature he cares not for, but it's still a great find. Is there anything else down there?"
This is all I saw off the bat, but there could be. It's rather disgusting, and I'm kind of afraid of what caused it.
Any ideas about this art? Why it would reek so bad.
It was
and
the
with
viscous, acidic muck.
yes.
So, Durandal, what do you want to do?
Mayhaps we can find some more things down there.
Okay, let's go back.
So, as you go down there, Durandal, give me an investigation check. Roll a d6. Close to one of the other bodies, again, more of the muck. You look and you see something looking down there in the puddle of muck next to one of the bodies. It's like you see its arm is completely dissolved, and both of its arms are kind of like laying out like this in the puddle of muck. But you do see some metal shining through the muck itself. What do you wish to do?
Bats, go pick it up for me.
All right, so you summon this swarm of bats. They go through. They reach down and kind of mage hand grab whatever's out there, and they pull up 2 daggers. And they pull them up to you as you drop them. You start looking at them. They're looking like some type of gold inlaid daggers. They seem to be ceremonial, but they're both gold hilted with a curved blade. And as you look at those, Balthazar looks over and says, "Oh, those are grand. If you don't want those, I like daggers personally."
Are they kind of like a kopesh?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be like, just I'll trade you the Gladius for these.
Yeah, sure. He gives you back the Gladius and he takes these and he kind of goes to the sand and kind of brushes them off. Using, he's like,
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea.
That's awful. What is that smell? It doesn't smell acidic.
Can I do a nature check on
You may.
on the smell or the sludge?
You can.
Ooh.
A 19. As you look at it, you realize that this is excrement.
I figured. So whatever this stuff is, it's been eaten. It would explain the smell and the...
I'm gonna hold up this greatsword and I'm gonna say, if something excreted this,
Yes.
I don't want to know what it is. Let's leave.
Baltimore goes, but what else did it? What else could be down here?
You want to take your turn, Balthazar?
Balthazar, he goes and he searches around. Yes, he will do an investigation check. He looks and goes, I don't seem to find anything. And he kind of is paused and he's kind of looking at it. He goes, I'm more concerned about what possibly... tell you what, I'll go scout ahead. You might want to continue searching here. I'm very concerned about what this is.
I'm gonna do an investigation check.
Okay.
Nope. It looks like poop.
It's deep poop. Now here's the thing. You don't see anything in the poop unless you want to digging in the poop. You're just brazenly like looking at the poop, but if you want to go digging, you may find something else.
Your greatsword would be good at unearthing things in the feces.
Durandal, you want to take a search?
Sure. Is that investigation?
Yes.
God.
And there is the mighty one. Back to back, we have low, terrible rolls. All right, so you go searching, and as you search, you stop, and you notice that one of the skulls of the individuals, it was in fact, you see like the acid, but you also see like something broke its skull open, and it looks recent. And you look about and you see tracks. Someone was here searching as well and seemed to have cracked the skull open of this thing.
Is the body? I'll call Xiv and be like, what do you know about this body? Is it humanoid?
It is.
Yes, and it appears it had its head split open by something, and there's only 3 of us and a dog and a horse, so we should probably leave.
Sorry. Magdalene. Actually, Magdalene's pretty high. Let me roll. Magdalene is digging at something and seems to have found something as well.
I'm gonna try to do an animal handling check with the dog.
Go for it.
You might have better luck.
He didn't take a shot at it.
You haven't actively tried to murder it. Yes.
That's 9.
He seems to be, or she seems to be more willing to accept you being close to her than that other one.
What you got there, girl? Mind if I take a look?
And she backs up and just kind of like lays out, like, does he see this flame like come out of her nostrils? And she kind of like burns out some of the muck, which makes it smell worse, but actually pushes some of it away. And you see a sharp blade sticking out of the sand.
I'm going to...
You very just kind of get it out of the muck. You do pull out a sword, smaller than yours, curved similar to the daggers, a scimitar.
A scimitar. Are there any hats?
You don't see any hats.
You could take this split open skull and kind of fit it around
too big. Well, now with a scimitar, I'm going to poke around in other places and see if there's anything else I can
Give me one more
find.
investigation check. I'll give you one more. No. All right, so you have a scimitar, which is a light finesse weapon. It does count as a short sword. And then it looks, you do sense some magical nature coming off of it as well. And then with that,
Do you have anywhere to put this?
I do.
I'm gonna hand it to you.
I found me a bag o' holding.
Oh.
Yes. I'm gonna take a look at this. Does it feel good?
it does. It's perfectly balanced. It's extremely crafted extremely well, more so than anything that you've found before. Once you get the muck off of it, it does have these red rubies encrusted into the hilt. There are 3 on either side, 1 center and then 1 on each side, and so there's 6 total rubies encrusted into the hilt itself. It looks extremely valuable.
Which way did Balthazar go?
He is on top of the ridge, scouting about, and he kind of whistles, and Magdalene kind of starts scampering up towards him as he looks
I want to
over.
head that way. I'm gonna tell Durandal that I think we should go that way.
Okay, so Xiv, who's got the horse at this point?
Xiv does.
Okay, so
I can
Xiv,
just spider climb up.
so Xiv, you get back on the horse. So Xiv, you ride the horse up to the top. Durandal, you go with him with your newfound treasures that were rolled up by Discord. We'll talk more about those in a bit. And as you look about, you see that Balthazar seems very concerned. He looks over and he goes, "Do you see that ahead?" And you see this giant mountain range and this massive cave that has like rocks still kind of like pulling off of the cave. The cave looks to be about 30 feet tall. And he looks over and goes, I've been by this area before. That cave is new.
Then we should leave.
Agreed.
Do you think that's where the scavengers went?
Now it's possible if they were trying to evade us. Kieran or Vastani may have gone into that cave not knowing what they were in for. Should we go in there?
I vote no. Let me do a little rudimentary math for you. There were more than 3 people down there with mighty fine weapons, and they're poop now.
An astute observation, my friend. I suggest whatever went in there is on their own. So we should head back to Muhan.
I think
If
that's probably wise.
That's better than this place. I vote yes.
The sun is going down soon. We should be going. We will need to find cover.
Well, let's not make it that cave.
I agree. Just a point, the chat wants you to go into the cave.
I know they do. I'm stuck between Danny the player and Durandal the
Right.
DMP.
I just think it's funny. Okay, no. Play your characters correctly. Sorry, they are going to evade the newly formed cave.
Let me.
Intelligence save. So we're not going to the cave. Okay.
Save versus stupidity. Yeah.
Correct. Now, as you're moving, this little canyon that you're in, you look and there's a way you see that you could actually kind of follow the canyon away from the cave and further up. Like you could actually, he's kind of, whatever this is, has made a road in a sense. And you could take it in a direction towards the mountains to find a pass. Baltazar looks and goes, we could just take this canyon.
Like skirted at the top.
Or in it if we need cover.
I don't know. This is something large as outhouse. I'm not too sure.
But it's already left. It looks like it went into that cave.
Oh.
I mean, I say we move in the opposite direction and go in the direction where it came from.
Okay.
Well, you're the native.
No, I am not. But I have been here longer than you have.
Yes.
Let's ride.
All right. So with that, kind of going back and forth, skirting above the canyon and kind of like getting in the canyon, and every now and then, as you travel, you go from barren to more poop, as it just seems to kind of move and just eat and just kind of leave behind whatever it is. As you're moving through this, you travel for another few hours as you go through the night, and as the faded sun goes and darkness comes out, you do see, it doesn't get kind of dark here. It gets very dark here, as the clouds and the mist kind of obscure any type of light coming from above, and the only light that seems to be emanating anywhere is that piercing light from the obelisk, which acts as sort of moonlight for the entire region.
Balthazar.
So what would you like to do as far as camping or traveling?
Balthazar, you said that's his gaze. Can he see everything? Literally.
I don't know. He sees what he is looking for. He is determined to find his call.
Okay. Does, I can't remember. Did I show him that staff?
Not really.
As we're walking, I'm going to pull it out and just kind of show
See,
it
if
to
you
him.
see him pull this giant, like bronze encrusted, also has like golden staff out of his bag of holding. It looks pretty ornate as he pulls this massive staff out. It has these wing tips on the top of the staff itself. It has some type of emblem on the top, like a head on the top of it. It looks like some type of humanoid. It has like the cowl, like that kind of comes over it, that you would like see like a pharaoh or something like that wear.
Do you know anything of this, Balthazar or Xiv? Anything at all?
I have seen these used by the priestess of this area. There are many gods that the Akiran worship. All variations of Octopod. I don't believe they realize that all these different deities all kind of root back to the same pharaoh. But that is a staff that they would use.
Okay.
I do believe that is called a nemiz, or I don't know how you pronounce it. That's what the hat's called, I know.
Oh. You are a well-learned individual, Xiv.
I know a lot about hats.
He's a haberdasher.
Xiv, the Frankenstein haberdashery. I dig it. That's a trade skill we never see.
Are these magical in nature? These staffs? These staves?
I do not know.
I could, I'm gonna turn on the eyes.
You turn on the eyes, and you do see that the bag that it came out of is magical. The staff is not. The scimitar that Durandal has around his belt is magical.
What about the daggers?
The daggers are not magical.
I'm gonna look at Magdalene and Balthazar as well to see if I see anything emanating off of them.
Nothing on either of them.
The staves are not magical. These weapons that we found are quite.
Oh. Any ideas what these weapons might do?
I can do an Arcana check on Danny's, right?
Mm-hmm. Before.
+4. 16?
You can tell it's enchanted similarly to yours. It is a +1 scimitar.
Nice. Dig it. Thank you, Xiv.
Do we want to continue through the night, or do we want to try and rest? I could go either way.
Balthazar, you seem to not enjoy the sun. Would you like to keep going through the night and rest during the day?
I would prefer that if you would.
I'm okay with it.
Perhaps we travel on and try to find a shelter for us during the day and travel at night when, well, I don't know about you, but my senses are more keen at night.
I'm okay with that. Xiv, what about you?
Sounds fine to me.
As he is, you're traveling for the next several hours, Balthazar, he stops, and he goes, "Ah, I smell it. Durandal, my friend, do you smell it?"
I'll do a what check?
You sense something in the air, but you're not quite sure. He goes,
Blood.
Blood. Something is alive near here. We should investigate.
Well, I'm okay with that. At least to know if something's lurking, waiting for us.
Yes, we'll go with that.
Yes. I'm trying to convince Xiv.
Xiv, you just see the two shady individuals in front of you conversing and sniffing the air.
What say you, Xiv?
I'll not stand for you accosting anyone helpless.
Oh, I don't think I could bring myself to that either. Balthazar?
Let's just see what we run into.
The horse is off limits.
Why, I'm not a savage. And with that, he moves, and you see him kind of scuttle up to on the top of the ridge itself and looking. And in the ridge, as this kind of like turns, and someone else has taken this cue as well that this may be a good place to camp. Another group of individuals has set camp in a canyon similar to the one, same as we did, but just kind of around a bend. And there's a campfire, and there seems to be a camp scene happening just around the ridge. And he looks over and goes, we could get closer if we go quietly. To surmise the situation, of course.
I'm all right with that. If they have supplies, the horse could probably use it.
And I'm just going to keep proceeding forward at my leisurely pace on the horse.
Okay. Quietly, though, because the horse doesn't touch the ground, so you're just quietly. So you're walking through the canyon. These two are scuttling up on top and kind of like going over and into the next canyon. I'm assuming Durandal, you're going with him.
Yes.
You look about and you see that Magdalene, she's kind of moving like slow to the ground. Her fur's kind of cocked up in the back, as if it's stalking. You know dogs, and this one, while it's a strange hound, notice that it's doing the same. They're both on the hunt.
Okay. I'll get closer and just try to ascertain what these people.
Give me a stealth check.
Oh, I don't know why it rolled 2.
I did. I rolled that. All right, so you rolled a 15. So 8 plus 7 is 15. You get closer and closer, and as you look down, you do see there are 4 individuals sitting about. They seem to be seems to be telling a story or talking, as there 4 of them are camped around. You also see that they seem to have a pair of camels that are kind of like sitting there as well. So they're feeding the camels, and there's 4 of them there camping in the area. As you sit there for a few minutes and watch, one of them gets up and moves around the bend, and another 2 camels comes walking up as if they were feeding them or moving them about. But the 4 of them, and now 4 camels, are sitting there camping, and one of them seems to be telling stories. Give me an investigation check.
Keep in mind, I'm proceeding ahead in the canyon.
Correct. You're coming around the bend. Durandal, you overhear one of them talking. It's some form of Elvish. You are proficient in that language, if I'm correct. You're not 100%, but you do know that they're basically telling the stories, and one is sharing. They seem to be talking about traveling back from Muhar, and they're going to a village, and they seem to have been traveling and bringing supplies back from Muhar. So they have a lot of this group seems to be traders of some kind, and they're bringing supplies back from Muhar.
Are they humans?
Yes, humanoids. Yes, from what you can tell, they're wearing the large robes, brown robes, like the sand garb and everything. They seem friendly. They're traders.
Is Balthazar with me?
You look around. Give me a perception check.
God. I'll just slit his throat.
You look about, and he and Magdalene are both missing. About that time, you see Xiv coming around the back. Xiv, here's your choice. You look up, you see Durandal kind of hunched over on the ridge. You see this camp scene. They have not spotted you yet. Do you want to continue forward and make yourself known, or do you want to halt, or what do you want to do?
I'm gonna go, hello there!
As soon as you say that, they all kind of jump up, and you see a couple of them grab, one grabs a staff, another grabs a club, another one actually pulls out a dagger, as they all kind of look out, and they see you kind of marching forward, and it goes, and they start speaking out. Do you speak Elvish?
Good question. I speak Common.
Okay, you say, hello there, and they start speaking back to you in some other foreign tongue that you're not 100% familiar with. You don't really know what they're saying, but they seem startled and are pulling weapons.
What did they say? What did I hear?
They think it's a brigand.
I'm going to make sure that I'm going to step off the horse.
Okay.
And I'm going to make a show of stowing the weapon on the horse. And I'm going to approach them with my hands up and a smile on my face.
Give me a persuasion check.
Okay. Actually, I think I might have advantage on that.
What? What?
Yep. Or not advantage. I have
Proficiency.
yeah.
Your proficiency in it.
So that is a 13.
Okay. The leader of the group who's holding the staff seems to like put his hand up and he's kind of halting it and he's saying something. You don't really understand what he's saying, but he is holding his hand up at you like and keeps pushing you like this.
I'm going to
Durandal,
I
you
see
hear
Danny.
what he's saying, yeah.
I see Danny, right?
Yeah. Durandal, yes.
All right. I'm going to motion, Durandal, come down, my friend. Come down.
And they look up and now they suddenly spot Durandal and at that point they're all like talking back and forth and they're like, you hear Durandal, you hear one of them say, we've been surrounded. We've been surrounded.
I'm just going to say, please, we are not here to harm you. We are just travelers. We've met nothing but various creatures. We have no idea.
Tell them we were just being cautious.
We were just being very cautious.
Well, rightfully so. The God Pharaoh watches us. Always. What are you doing out?
There's another one around here somewhere. I haven't seen
They
it.
don't understand what he's saying. They're like, we don't understand your friend in his strange tongue.
Yes, I'm afraid he doesn't speak your tongue. But I will call out Balthazar, Magdalene. Come out.
And with that, Balthazar appears directly behind them out of the shadows. He just appears, and he's speaking the same language as they. He goes, greetings, friend. And they all just freak out at this point because he was like right up in their camp and they never saw him. And he just seemed to almost appear out of a shadow. You didn't see him walk up. He just appeared. And as soon as he appeared, the dog came up behind him as well. Very creepy how close they came. And he looks up and he goes, we were just simply passing by to share the warmth of your fire. And the other goes, of course, safety in numbers, right?
Agreed.
And the leader walks up and goes, my name is Har'Akir, and you seem to be doing the talking. He goes, and you are, good sir?
My name is Randall.
Randall?
Randall.
My name is Har'Akir. And these are
I'm walking up this whole time. I'm not stopping.
Hi.
And this is my good friend.
Hello, I'm Xiv.
Xiv.
Xiv. We are very worried about Xiv. He carries a large weapon and some mighty steed. Would you ask a friend to stow the weapon? Further, I know he.
No, I left it on the horse.
Oh, so you've gotten off the horse at this point.
I've already put it off the horse and I've
okay.
had my hands up the whole time.
You goes, well, sure. You join the fire. Sorry, I mistook you for common thieves.
I'm going to walk around to where Balthazar is and cuff him on the shoulder like this.
And you sense an annoyed humph as you do that from Balthazar. He goes, come, friend, let us share the fire.
And we will watch our manners. And I'm going to squeeze him as I say that.
But of course. So, friends, what news from Muhan, who traveled there, I assume? And they all very shockingly look and goes, how did you know that? You stink of fish, my friend. It's the only place around you could have been. And they all kind of laugh because, yes, that we do. We did enjoy some fish while we were there. And with that, you sit with the group. You get to know the four men They share their water and some of their wineskins with you, and they are in fact traders heading back to their camp. They seem to be traveling past this thing called the Sands of Soot, which is where you were traveling from, and heading back south of there. They seem to have an encampment just south of something called the Missing Monuments. You hear them kind of sharing this information with Baltazar. Durandal, you are listening because you're picking up some parts of the terrain. Sand of Soot is a new term you've heard, and also Missing Monuments. They seem to have an encampment near there. And they were also speaking of the fact that they had just encountered some Vistani that were traveling in Muhar as well. They were trading there as well.
Describe. I'm going to relay to Durandal. If he's relaying this to me, I'm going to say, ask him to describe the Vistani.
Well, the leader of them, there's several. The leader of them is an older female with a strange cart that she able to move it across the dunes in a way I did not understand. A magical means, I guess. A blessing. But it's very odd. It's off-season for them to be traveling here.
So I want to walk up to where Danny and the leader are, and I want to kind of put my hands on both their shoulders. I guess I'm very much taller than them.
Yes.
And I want to look at Danny and be like, be sure to tell him of the cave and all of the things that we found and to avoid it.
Oh yeah, I'll relay the huge opening and then the canyon with all the muck and
That we're in right now, so if they keep going, they're going to run into it.
right.
I believe it's the sand kraken you speak of.
God.
And I want to look at the guy and be like,
It's probably a good thing we did not go in that cave then.
It bores new caves and it is constantly moving about. And
I want to look at some of the other traders, and I want to see if I can trade my hat for a different hat, the Centurion hat.
oh, sure.
They've
sure.
never seen something like this before,
No,
I'm
no,
sure.
of course. And they one of them takes off his hat and he says, "Would you like my?" And they want to see if they'll trade you his hat, which is a fine, like leather hat that has like the sand thing coming off the side of it, like the desert robes and stuff. And they do have clothing. They would gladly trade you, some garments and a new hat to kind of go with the terrain if you'd like to trade your helmet.
Yes, I'll trade my helmet. It's a very fine metal, I'm assuming.
They've never seen anything like it. They said you wish to trade your Centurion helmet for your
Yes.
desert garb.
Yeah, I'll get a cloak that I can put over my giant leather jacket.
Sure. All right, so
And,
you've got like the robes, you've got the cloak now, and you've got like the I don't know what it's called, but the desert hat. It also has like the pull around where you can we're gonna go for the full dune look here.
What do you say, Baltazar? Do you want to continue walking, or do you want to barter for some camels?
And he looks up and goes, "Oh no, the camels are not for trade. I apologize. We will need all of them for our journey." And you look, and they seem to. The camels are packed down with supplies.
I got you. So they're actually carrying everything.
Yeah,
I got you.
they're carrying everything. Yeah, we could trade food or provisions. We have extras of that. If you would like wine or water or anything else, we have some things. If there's anything you're looking for in particular.
Do you have anything in the way of potions, elixirs?
Oh yes, and looks over and he goes, "My friend Seema here," and he goes, "Hi, yes. He's he's the shortest of the group, missing several teeth up front. And he looks over and goes, "Hi, yes, I make tinctures and potions." And as he looks over, you notice that he's missing one of his fingers, and it's kind of black around it and everything. He goes, I work with the black powders as well. You need a few potions.
My friend might. He might tell you what he needs. Maybe there's
I
something.
want to look through their wares and see if anything
hemoglobin.
stands out to me.
they do have some alchemist wares. They do have some potions of healing and things of that nature. He's also got something that they're excited about. They've kind of concocted. It's a potion of fire breathing. So they've got a couple of those as well. They've got 2 of those, and they've got 3 potions of healing if you wish to trade with them.
Didn't I find something from the other ruins? It's been a minute, so forgive me. There was something like jewels or stones or something that we found in that box.
Oh,
We have pieces. We have.
Fortunately, I keep up with all of that in Discord.
I have it all written down. It's just random.
I will look over.
I'm going to ask Durandal, do you think we should show them that stave? Maybe they know anything of it.
Yes, you kept 5 onyx stones, 5 black stones.
I just hope it doesn't scare them. They do seem to be in fear of the priests of Onctopot. But if we lead with we found it, or we slew one, perhaps.
Yes, or we could just tell them we were strangers from another land, that we came through the mists, since we stand out, and tell them we're new here, and we don't know what this is, and we just found it.
The cool thing is that you guys can talk right in front of them using common.
Right.
Durandal, yeah, you found several things that last. You got the diamonds, you got the mirror, but Xiv, particularly, you have those 5 onyx stones.
I'm going to show them
40 gold.
I'm going to show them the stones and be like,
And Seema looks over and goes, "Oh, black stones, obsidian. Yes, I would trade for these." And he looks over and he goes, "Potion? Trade stones for potion?"
I'm going to get an insight check.
Sure.
Sure.
Okay, so he hands you, you get a potion of healing, and he takes your stones and goes, thank you so much. And so trade out your 5 obsidian stones for a potion of healing. And you look about, and another one comes up to you, Durandal. He goes, sorry, my name is Kazalin. I came across something in a market. I'm not sure what it is, but I liberated it from its owner. I have it to trade if you have something of value. And he pulls out this giant pearl. It is a massive pearl. And he's like holding it like baseball size. He goes, I would like to trade it for something else. If you would like to allow me to fence my goods with you.
Why would we want a pearl?
Give me an Arcana check.
Uh, 13.
There is a magical hue coming off of the pearl.
Hmm.
Now you know this, and it comes to you quickly that no one else here realizes that.
Okay. I'm gonna say to Durandal, I think this might be worth the trade.
What do you want for it, friend? Gold?
Yes, you have gold. I would very much like gold.
I'll also pull out the Gladius and be like, you ever seen one of these?
This is a nice blade. I would like the blade, but you said gold. I would like the blade and maybe some gold as well.
Ooh. Don't know about that. There's only one of these in the world.
No, I've seen many blades. It's a nice blade. But I like gold and things that they're shiny.
I tell you what. I'll give you the Gladius and some studded leather.
Oxalos. Do you have any gold? You said gold. I'm holding you to gold.
I'm gonna ask one of them if they have a cleaning cloth.
And one of them goes, sure. And they reach over and they've got like things to clean and everything like that. So
I tell them I wish to clean my weapon.
okay,
And that I'm going to bring it over.
All right, so you bring the weapon over. They kind of look over it. Farahad, the chieftain's looking over. Is very interested in that, and they help. So, Durandal, you're looking as Farahad, and you're with Seema and Kazalan, and Kazalan is looking over like, yes, I very much would like to trade with you, but you said gold. Do you have any gold, friend?
Well, it is just a large sphere, so...
Aye, but I believe it is quite large and shiny. I believe it is quite valuable.
5 gold pieces.
Give me a persuasion check.
Oh, God! Oh!
You roll a natural 20. Ha! Damn, 5 gold pieces and your sword, and you'll have a deal.
5 gold pieces in the gladius.
You're getting a steal.
Yeah, seems fair.
Ah,
I don't know what I'll do.
And he seems quite excited that he's getting completely ripped off. You realize this. You keep a straight face as you hand him 5 gold pieces and your used sword for some magical pearl. Natural 20 on the persuasion check, ladies and gentlemen.
With no...
With no modifiers, just straight natural 20.
I'll pull out the staff and be like, what is this thing?
And they all look about and go, oh, that is quite valuable. And Farahad looks over and goes, that is a sign of power, a sign of prestige in our land. It is quite valuable. Would you be willing to trade that as well?
Good, I was seeing if you knew its true value.
It is quite valuable. I've only seen one other like it in Muhar. The head priestess there carries one.
Pay a limitation. She's a pretender compared to this.
Oh, yes. I would like to trade for it.
Durandal, is he interested in that?
He is very interested in this. Says it's very valuable.
I caught the word Muhar. What did he say about that?
A priestess of Muhar has one similar.
Maybe they would be better suited to give us something other than these caravan.
What do you have in mind?
Perhaps someone in there would be more inclined to help us if we return something like this.
Ooh. Return the staff, so keep it with us.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking anyway.
I'll turn back and be like, let me think on it.
And they seem to be conversing back and forth, and Kazalan comes back up to you and goes, I liberated something else while I was there, and I would like to see if you'd be interested in trading that. The priestess there, while she was looking at other things, I took this, and he pulls out this book. It's a fairly large tome, and he goes, I look at the bindings, and I think it is quite valuable, but unfortunately, I am not one for script and understanding its strange wording, but it does look
valuable. Can I put out my hand? Can I put out my hand to see the book?
Yeah, sure. And he hands it to you. To see the gold-laden binding itself is quite valuable. I believe the book and the staff are probably close in value if you would be interested in trading the book for the staff.
I'm going to flip open the book and see if I can make out anything.
What is the script in? It's
in some form of Elvish. The Elvish, Durandal, you read it. You can understand it.
Like a cookbook?
No, it is in some type of incantation.
Like a spell? Like a spell book?
Maybe.
I'll try to do some of the translation for Xiv and see if he can figure it out.
Okay, so Xiv, Give me an Arcana check with advantage. Since you're getting basically helped by Durandal. Okay.
So 14?
You do know it is a magical tome. You do not know the use of the tome or what it would do, but it is quite magical.
And the staff is not.
No.
I'll say,
I go, it is magical.
I tell you what. It's an okay book. I'll give you the staff. For the book and your healing potions.
Alright, give me a deception check, because that's a straight lie. And you know it's a lie. An 8. He goes, no, I believe. Actually, it is an opposed roll. So I have to see. You've got yourself a deal since I rolled a 5. So you swindle the group. He gives you the other 2 healing potions and the tome for the wooden staff that's inladen with bronze and gold.
Thinking about going after the camels now. Guys, we got the Three Stooges bartering with us here.
Why rob them when you can just swindle them?
Oh gosh.
How far is it to Mahar? Ask them.
3 days.
What else have you seen on the way? Anything of note?
Well, just the breath of Octopod. And he looks over and he's pointing in a direction, kind of like northwest, where you're kind of heading. And he looks over to the northeast, and he's kind of pointing in that direction that there is another one of those sandstorms swirling.
We will definitely steer clear of that. What else do you have that is of great value, if anything?
I believe we are done with our wares at this point.
Good trades. Good trades. I believe I got some junk, but you shared your fire.
Right. And Balthazar comes up and goes, "Excuse me, friends, but weren't there 4 of you? I only see 3. And they all look about and he goes, oh, where's Hakim? Where's Hakim?
I'll do a survival and see if I can see any tracks.
You do see tracks moving away from camp.
Do they look like running or just walking, or?
Walking?
I'm gonna look over and make sure the horse is still there.
Your horse is still there. The camels are still there, and they're all kind of spreading out, looking around for their missing friend. And you follow the footsteps out, and you find a body laying in the sand and just like toppled over.
I'm gonna check its neck.
Yeah, it's as expected. He's been garroted.
Ooh, been garroted, not sucked upon.
It has been.
Ooh,
but he's also
friend,
been garroted.
I believe your friend had a some sort of stroke or heart attack. It seems. Just
that's a hard
keeled
sell.
over
He's
dead.
got blood coming out of his neck.
He fell. His neck fell onto his blade while he was shaving.
It looks like Balthazar has tried to cover his tracks. Right, you see right through it.
Strange. What would have? Are these the thieves you were speaking of?
Farhad looks at Hakim. Oh no, there must. He looks around and goes, "What happened? There must be brigands about. Quickly, we must defend." And they pull their camels around and kind of like they're pulling their camels around and having them all sit down, and they're all like basically getting and using the camels as a wall around the camp, and they're inviting you to also take shelter with them and take a defensive formation for the brigands that are surely about to jump them.
Oh yes, friends, I will help you.
I'm
valiant.
going to say we're going to take our chances on a loan. And I'm going to grab Balthazar by the arm, and we're just going to walk away.
Okay. Everybody was trading for something.
Yeah.
So Balthazar looks and says, well, I believe we all got what we were looking for, so you found some good wares.
As we're walking away, as soon as we get out of eyeshot of the others,
Yes.
I'm going to take Balthazar by the neck and ram him against the wall as hard as I can.
Okay. You
Out of
grab him.
nowhere.
You just, okay, so you go and grab him. So make a grappling check to Balthazar.
Balto.
That is a 15.
You absolutely grab him. You pick him up and you push him away. He goes, friend. And as soon as you do that, you feel this heat coming off to your right as the dog is ignited. And you see like this fire emanating from its mouth and growling at you as you are holding Balthazar up against the rock.
I'm going to beast out my arms.
Okay, so your arms go into like full beast as the fur like explodes out of your arms.
And I'm going to growl back at Magdalena.
And give me an
An
intimidation check. Yeah. Again, opposed.
That's a 20.
You reach over, you growl back. This guttural, almost like a howl, comes out of your mouth as you growl back at the dog. The dog, spotting its superior, bows back, and the light from his mouth kind of dissipates as he's looking at you and realizing that she is not the alpha as she is looking up at you. And Balthazar goes, oh, friend, that is a very neat trick.
I'm going to look at him and say, you do that again while you travel with me, and it will be your blood that is spilt.
Understood, friend, but understand that I must feed as well. We all have our needs, and I need sustenance. So how do you presume I survive in this land?
We will find animals. I know it doesn't taste as good, but we will find animals and bloodlet them.
I'm going to get an inch away from his face and say, figure it out.
Understood. And with that,
Then I'll let him go.
as you were about to let him go, your grip on him just dissipates into shadow, and he just disappears and reappears behind you, and he goes, I mean no harm, friend. We all must find a way to survive this world. But you see that he seems to fall through and kind of reappear from one dimension to another as he comes up behind you.
I will not play accomplice to murder.
Oh, but you don't understand, those people are already dead. If I wasn't going to kill them, this world will. They are not long for this world. Too trusting.
I have spoken. And I am pissed.
Understood, friend. Understood.
Only those deserving, or animals, something.
Well, we must hunt more deserving feed then.
I have vials. We can store. I know old blood isn't the best. Kind of goes sour, but...
Understood. Understood. Well, we will find bounty in Muhar, so we were only a few days out. They said 3. I believe we can do it in 2.
I'm going to look at Durandal and say, we kept a better company before.
Yes. Although he is leading us to... Let's use him for now. Let's use his guidance for now.
So he and Magdalene are kind of ahead of you walking into the night. The two of you, uneasy, but a needed guide at the moment as you follow Balthazar. Through the night, as you get closer to morning, there's a large stone outcropping. You see like a very small like inlet of a cave he leads you to. And he goes, there, we can rest there for the day. And it's a very small nook, but it should be big enough for all of you to kind of, make some type of shaded camp for the day. to get your rest.
Get your rest. I'll watch.
I'm going to pull Xiv to the side and say, he doesn't know that you don't have to rest. Maybe you should, pretend you're asleep and see what he does in the middle of the night, just to make sure.
Okay. I'm not taking
So
my
you're
eyes off
camping
of it.
during the day. We're flipping day night. Okay. All right. So you rest through the day. Durandal, how are you resting through the day?
I'll just say we'll take shifts. I'll take the first shift and then sleep after.
Okay. So you take the first shift. He rests some during the day as well. He buries himself in the earth. Magdalene kind of helps dig him out a hole. He actually covers himself completely up in the earth. He is completely in the earth as he rests. Magdalene goes once he's buried and lays on top of him and just kind of sits, ever watching, doesn't need to sleep as well, and is just resting and just kind of like watching the two of you, particularly Xiv. Didn't really trust Durandal after she got shut out. Now really doesn't trust Xiv. So this uneasy alliance is kind of simmering in the cave as Magdalene kind of stares at the both of you.
Oh, well, I'll stare the dog down. I don't have to blink.
Right.
Yeah.
So Xiv and Magdalene just sit there and just play a staring contest for hours on end. Durandal, during your watch, what do you want to do? Anything?
During the watch, I'll just kind of look out front of the cave, and then I'll lead back. I'll walk back and just kind of make sure everything's okay.
This
Your
is a long
typical-
rest, right?
It is a long rest, right? So everyone's getting a long rest. All right, so Durandal, you go and you kind of scout around a bit during your rest. Heading back, you do see you're an eye shot of the cave. You're just kind of walking about during the day, trying to get your bearings. You do continually see the obelisk in the distance with the little simmering light. You do go and you look, and you hear a cracking sound coming from the ravine that you left. It's kind of the strange road that you're kind of quasi following to Muhar. That this apparent sand kraken left. You go and you look and you see there's sounds coming from there. Do you wish to go investigate or leave it be?
I will get to where I can hear.
You hear something scuttling around, and you hear the breaking of what sounds like bone or rock. There's something breaking and scuttling around. Give me a perception check for hearing. A 10. You do hear what looks to be 3 individuals walking and scuttling about the canyon floor.
How far away am I from the cave?
You look back, you're probably a couple 100 feet from the cave.
Okay.
So you're kind of you can't see in the ravine. You're above it, but you can see that in the distance. So do you want to just kind of head back? You want to go check it out?
I'm gonna lay flat as I can and just inch my way up
Okay.
and see you're over.
Give me a stealth check. 21. That is a 14 plus 7. You creep over as you kind of like gently crawl over the ravine. You look over and you see 3 individuals with tattered clothing, claws. The hands are kind of digging around, pulling bones and different things out. You see one of them reach up and grab a skull and start shaking it, crack on the inside, look on the inside, toss it over their shoulder. They seem to be scavenging the area. But what you see like they've got like these long like tattered clothing and hoods and stuff. But you see these giant claws, like these like almost like broken up finger bones. You can see like flesh hanging off of them as they're kind of digging about.
Okay, I'll head back.
Okay, so you quietly head back as you see whatever it is scampering and scavenging in the ravine. You head back to the cavern itself. As you get back, you seem to be interrupting the world's longest staring contest as Magdalene and Xiv are just staring at each other intently And with that,
Well, tell
what would you like?
Xiv, I'm not the only one who sleeps in the dirt like that. See, it's not too odd.
Ziv, what would you like to do?
Does he tell me about these creatures?
Yeah, I definitely
Well,
tell him.
Tell him what you see.
There were 3 individuals, tattered robes, talons. They seemed to be picking through the bones and skulls in the ravine. Should we
I
wake
will
Balthazar
keep a
and ask
watch.
him if he knows anything about this?
I will keep a watch on the cave entrance if you wish to sleep and wake you up.
Sounds good.
Okay.
They're not
There's-
trouble unless they find us.
So
Yes.
Ziv in sentry mode continues the long rest. You rest throughout the day, and as day wears and as we get closer to dusk, Balthazar just kind of materializes out of the sand. Doesn't dig out, just kind of emanates out of the sand himself. And kind of comes to go, yes. And he reaches over and he pets Magdalene and goes, Ziv, thank you so much for watching over me while I rested. Are we ready to continue on our journey?
Durandal has not woken yet.
Oh, I see. Do you require food or sustenance in any way? We hunt for you.
I'm fine.
I did not mean to offend you earlier. I believe we just need to come to some understanding. I do apologize. Your world that you obviously came from is very different than the one I came from.
It is. And when you no longer have a true life, you value it a little more.
I will ponder on those words. They are quite interesting. And your trick with your furry arms, are you inflicted with lycanthropy, my friend?
I believe so.
Is it something you wish to absolve yourself of? My master could help you with that.
It doesn't seem to be a problem at the moment. I am not totally an animal.
You do seem to be in somewhat control over it. Could be handy then. It is very interesting that it only affects part of you. I've never seen that before. Every lycan I've ever run into are just savage beasts. You are quite something else.
It makes sense when you know a little bit more about me.
You are definitely a unique individual, Ziv. I look forward to traveling and learning more about you. And again, I apologize if I offended you in any way.
Apology accepted.
I see.
And I'll ease off a little bit.
Okay. And with that, he reaches over to Magdalene. It's okay. We all must get to know each other. And we are on the same team. We are on this of one accord. We must travel to Muhar and find a way out of this place.
Out of curiosity, how much blood do you require on a daily basis?
It just depends. I went a very long time without, and I believe I am just now getting back to my regular self. Normally not as much as you may think. It's just I went a very long time without.
Understandable, I suppose. Still, let us address it in a different manner next time.
I will take your leave on that then.
Thank you.
And with that, Durandal, you awaken. You pull yourself out of the dirt and kind of shake as you look, and you see there's seem to be some type of conversation happening between your travelers. And you look and you kind of look and see that the air is not quite as thick as it was whenever you rested. So hopefully it's not quite as bad.
Are you two playing nice?
It would appear so.
I wished only to play nice with you. I believe we need each other. We are destined to be allies, for the time being at least.
Good. Glad we come to some sort of accord. Good. I'll tell him about the individuals I saw yesterday. And,
Scavengers. Probably servants of the Pharaoh. Always searching. Were they living or not?
their skin was sloughing off.
Probably not, then.
I would say.
The Pharaoh controls all those that are undead, unliving, and they are constantly scouring the dunes, searching for clues that would bring back in search of his car.
Why do they search the heads?
They search everything. They are looking for his car. His soul is missing. It is what this domain is doing. It is keeping a soul from him so he cannot live a normal... He does not know the vibrancy of life. So he sends his minions out to find remnants of where it may be hidden.
It's torture indeed.
Well, shall we continue?
Aye, we should. If we press on, we may reach the Eternal River by night. By dawn, sorry, by dawn.
Okay.
Are we finding anything for the horse?
Yeah.
You did get some, we'll say you got some provisions from the caravan for the horse. Horse is definitely needing some food. You're going to have to find something more for the horse. Now, as you are talking to Baltazar, he says, well, once we get closer to the river, we will see the terrain will change directly. More vegetation, more life. The Eternal River brings some life and sustenance, and there are settlements and groves there, and I believe your horse will find things there to eat as well. I seem to remember apple orchard near there as well.
That sounds much better than this.
Well, it's somewhat better.
Does Onctopot's reach not extend that far?
Oh, it does. It does. The life of the river is meant to torment him even more, showing a vibrancy that he will never feel or taste.
I almost pity him.
Almost.
Almost.
And with that, you pick up camp and you start heading back out. Xiv, this time you're kind of walking next to the horse, kind of giving it a break and rest as you're kind of moving across. You're running low on water and things. Xiv, you're able to you don't need to take anything, so rations for you don't matter, but you're kind of befriending this horse, and you're kind of worried about the horse getting water. Durandal, you are able to share some of the water rations that you had left. Why don't you do a survival check and see if you can find some more of those cactus plants?
Cacti.
25. So plus 6, 19 is a 25. You do find, as you move across, you find, not only do you find some of those cacti, you find what looks to be some very small oasis hidden in the dunes itself. You find a water supply. As you go, you see some trees, and you find, and you bring them out, and just hidden, just this tiny little oasis in the middle of the desert, but you actually find trees and grass, and you see water. You also see tracks that maybe some other people have come through here before, but you do find, and as soon as you find that, you're ecstatic. It's the first life that you've seen the whole time that you're here.
Like, drink your fill.
Xiv, you see it, and it doesn't mean anything to you other than the fact that you're relieved that the horse itself will be able to drink. And you bring Equinox over, and it just starts drinking and lapping up the horse a good bit. And now this is at night, and as you look about, in the far distance, you see other campfires in the distance, kind of moving away from Muhar itself, but off in the distance you see that there seems to be another settlement in the distance, which makes sense. They would be somewhat close to the water source, but maybe this is like a small spring from another water source. So with that, Xiv, is there anything that you want to do with the small oasis?
I would clean off a little bit, been a bit dusty, wash the face and hands, and try to look civilized.
As Durandal, what would you like to do?
I will also get the sand off of me. It's coarse and irritating.
Make a perception check.
Did it? Okay. Ooh, that's a natty.
You reach over. You move back as you see several scorpions about the water itself. These rocks. You move back. You place your hand down. A scorpion reaches over and stings you on your hand as you evaded part of the swarm, but you look over and one of them got you. As its little stinger goes into your hand, you pull back. With instinctively, this rage comes about you. You pull out the scimitar and you just hack the scorpion in twain. Like, you just cut it off. You immediately out. Xiv, you look over and you see Durandal losing it as he takes his scimitar and starts just hacking all of these scorpions that have been unearthed from some of this rock. Durandal, give me
I'm in my skin.
Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh God. 15.
You shake off the poison. Actually, can you even be poisoned, Dampiers?
I don't think it says anything about it.
At any rate, you shake off the poison, but the anger of being stung by this thing. Xiv, you look over and you see these scorpions kind of trying to get away as Durandal is just giving chase and hacking these things down. It seems unlike him.
My friend, are you okay?
Scorpions about. Scorpions. One stung me.
Xiv, give me a perception check.
Nope.
Ooh, a 1. Okay, so you're just kind of thrown back as Durandal's kind of just raging, swinging his sword and cutting up all of these. Not really sure what is going on. And Durandal, you completely lose control of yourself as you're chasing over and hacking them with your scimitar. And we are going to pause our story as Durandal has fallen under the curse of the blade as he is carrying this scimitar of vengeance. He has equipped a scimitar of vengeance, and we will pick up next week as they head to Muhar with Durandal the Cursed. So, and you can thank Sunshine for that.
So does he have to kill them all?
Yeah.
Gotta kill them all.
All right. And so with that, as we end our scene with Durandal just like hacking up all of the scorpions and Baltazar and everyone kind of looking back at him just raging in the moment. The image kind of like starts to shake and shimmer as the orb, as the orb from Marcus shimmers and kind of comes back down. We return to the tavern itself. And we come back to the Troll Skull Tavern, and Marcus says, "Thank you all for joining us. We'll pick up next time and see what has befallen our poor friend Durandal as he has picked up a cursed blade in Har'Akir, and as they travel again to Muhar. So thank you all for coming, and thank you so much. We will pick up next week. Remember to tip your servants on the way out, and with that." We will see you. So thank you all for following, and we will pick up next week